Good afternoon, and welcome to Man Cave Meditations. I was looking earlier today. Time just it's flying by. And I was looking earlier today, realized it's been, I try not to go past a week. Don't want my 4 subscribers to start rebelling. But I tried not to go past a week. It's been 8 days. And I was revisited the last video, and it's like, God, it's like I feel like I start all these videos the same way of just like just what's going on in such a short amount of time is absolutely incredible. So now, what is it, June 9th? We are I think it was the last video or the video before, I was talking about how they feel like they have the Insurrection Act up their sleeve. As if that's just a button they're waiting to push. And I know that the actual act was not called forward, but the idea of it, you have the protests going on in LA, and they invoked an act or something, not the actual Insurrection Act, but something which in order to deploy the National Guard, they would have to consult the governor of the state, which they didn't do. So again, right off the bat, it's illegal. Right? But the problem with our whole system is that, and again, we haven't had someone like him in charge, or the cabal around him, to really test it. But the problem with the system is, like, if you try to say if you're shoplifting from a store and you have to walk through that, if you want to get outside with the stuff that you have, there could be a security tag, and you have to walk through those detectors in order to leave. Well, the detectors, they may not work, but they may work. You don't know. Right? So it's a big risk. Get arrested, shoplifting, it's the way of what? It's stupid. Plus, it's the wrong thing to do. But with our judicial system, maybe to take that analogy there, it would be like, leaving the store, and then, once you're, you drive home an hour or something, and they have no way of finding you, and that's when the alarm goes off. An hour after you go through it. So they know, I've done a past video about this, of them running with the ball after the whistle's been blown. They know that if that's a big part of their playbook. We're going to do whatever we want, and the judicial can catch up to us, if it can. And there's still a big idea there that they have the Supreme Court. He's got his 4 picks, whatever, 5, his boys, and then Amy, she's been bad, but they still think they're going to get away with anything. And they'll just argue the immunity in the end. Oh, it's official duty. Right? So they don't care if it's illegal. It's not, so when I hear all the commentators, oh, it's illegal, they know, again, there's no immediate consequence. From there, it's all about consequence. And if there's no immediate consequence, it's like, well, I'll just do what I want to do. There's not going to be anything to stop me. And at some point, what? The court's going to slap me on the wrist? Who cares? I'm an adjudicated rapist, 34-time convicted felon, and I got elected to the highest office in the world. You don't think I'm going to take every opportunity to use that to the very extent that I can? And again, it's like this whole thing in LA, it's premeditated in a way. It's a button that they knew they could push, and they pushed it now. Well, is it part of the authority? It's probably a couple of things. It's part of the authoritarian takeover, putting your toe in the water. Right? Like a fascist does. Put your toe in the water. How far can I go? Can I get away with this? Is there going to be pushback? What's the pushback? And B, that's A, and B, it just distracts. For the fact that I'm trying to shove through a budget bill that will basically bump 14 million Americans, an estimated 14 million Americans, off their health care. Add something like 4 trillion plus to the deficit, which is already out of control. At a time when the world is losing faith in the dollar, the bond market, because of his whole tariff shenanigan. It's self-implosion. It's just putting guns up to you and just shooting yourself as a country. Like they're trying to inflict harm upon the country. There's no way to look at this. At some point, that's just what it is. It's a combination of sheer idiocy and actually trying to harm it, to do this country ill. Again, I feel it was a few months ago I did the video after that Zelensky, and he's just looking. He's surprised. He's aligned with Putin. He wants to destroy the United States. Yeah. And I'm sure that he's got a one-way plane ticket somewhere, and a fucking golden jet is ready to just take, and Russia would just take him in with open arms. His whole family, if need be. Give him asylum. He's already paid his bill with them. They've gotten more than their money's worth out of him. Yeah, I feel that. And so you see what's going on in this past, week, if a week, with the Musk, the feud between him and Musk. He doesn't like that. He likes the attention, but he doesn't know how to fight him. I mean, you saw in the delay of him right when Elon started to lose it. I'm sure it was a few things. It was probably all bubbled up within him over the past few months. Tesla going down, not getting his EV stuff in the bill, the proposed budget bill, EV credits taken away, getting kind of kicked out of the White House. Didn't like all those things. Didn't like it. And it sure his mind, his ego. He's like, I put myself out there. I gave them all these. I gave him $300 million. I did all that hard work of reducing waste and abuse. Yeah, cutting off USAID. How many thousands of children in South Sudan and across the world, not just there, that have been and will continue to starve to death because of food that just rots in a warehouse somewhere because he had to cut fraud and abuse. If there's one thing that he should never, I don't care what he does, he should never live down. It's that. As Bill Gates said, the richest man in the world, starving the poorest children. That's his legacy. And should always be so. And we must not forget that. But you have the Trump-Elon feud. Elon throwing out the Epstein bomb, which Trump could blow it off, this and that, but there's a lot of smoke there. And I honestly feel that he's afraid of that. He's afraid of that. I don't know the information. I mean, we could all deduce. Anybody with, a modicum of intelligence could just deduce. What's there? That there's a there. I think so. And he's afraid of it. Because he knows. That's one of his great, his superhuman abilities. He knows when there's something that could hurt him. And that could hurt him. Big time. Right? All the evangelicals, that just carry him around as their golden calf. There's proof that he's a pedophile. Right? There's proof out there. Someone has, I don't know where it is, if it's just the government, there's proof out there. Damning proof. And I don't know what it is, but there's something there. Elon, I don't know. But there's something damning there. And that's part of his distraction. Now he's trying to distract against that. The big, beautiful bill he's trying to shove through that's going to basically put a ticking time bomb within the United States, but, make his buddy Putin happy. And the Epstein shit and Elon, all that, make it go away. Just make them look over there at LA. And to continue that authoritarian playbook. Can we do it? If we can do it in LA, then why can't we do it in Chicago? If we can do it in Chicago, why can't we do it in New York? All right? And then go to the lesser city. And then you keep going as far as you can go. And supposedly on these ICE raids, I heard that he's got Dr. Phil going around with the ICE agents to make it like a TV show. And I just heard that today. What the fuck? It's like that movie. God, how long ago was it? With Arnold Schwarzenegger, 1987, The Running Man. Great movie. The guy who used the guy who was the game show, the host of the Running Man show, which this whole futuristic society was based upon basically this show. They didn't get into it too much, but that was it. And this guy who ran the show, the game show, he was kind of like the chief guy. I forget the actor's name, but he was the original host of Family Feud. And I feel like that's, and they would they had their heroes or their champions who would, go after the criminals or whoever. They would throw them in the show, whoever they wanted to get rid of. Right? And stuff like that was just recently proposed. Supposedly, Kristi Noem talked about it, that they want to make like an immigrant type of, not Running Man, but Survivor show. It's sick. It's sick. And with all this, as the protests go, and he could just feel like he could double down or just, at one point declare victory and pull everybody back. And just like let everybody breathe. But again, it's cycles of abuse. We abuse, then we pull back, and abuse and pull back. And it's almost like the Wizard of Oz, like the size of the smoke bomb that the wizard throws is directly proportional to the size of the smoke bomb is directly proportional to that which the wizard is trying to distract, the calamity, usually self-imposed, that the wizard is trying to distract all the people from. So the size of the smoke, the size of the distraction. So as the calamity increases, so does the need for a bigger distraction. Right? When like dumb shit goes on or something like that, he might just wear a blue suit to the Pope's funeral. That's a distraction. Or, there's like the little distractions. But when he's getting serious, when he's really nervous about something like, photos, but, him with, 13-year-old girls on his lap or something at Epstein's place coming out. Or a bill that's going to kick 14 million people off their health insurance and be like the greatest transfer of wealth, since the Gilded Age. Yeah. Everybody serves the few. The vast amount service the few. And when something like that's going on, it's the degree of the distraction increases. The degree of intensity of the distraction that he needs to distract. So that's a sign of things to come too. Because as these things keep coming home, and they're going to keep coming home, You know, we're a month away from realizing whether we're, you know, at least the definition of a recession. Was that two quarters in a row of negative GDP growth? First quarter was a contraction. Again, first quarter was projected at one point to be over 2% growth. It's a contraction. Second quarter could be a contraction. Eyes are on that, I'm sure. You imagine what the distraction's going to have to be then? So, that's the playbook. But the thing with him is that in the end, there's no... I know this whole taco thing, he always chickens out, but there's a part of him that just... If we learned anything, you know, January 6th taught us anything, it's that there is no stopping. Right? He'll keep going. And the more that he gets away with, like a child throwing a temper tantrum and just breaking stuff and beating people and going nuts, you know? Part of it, the child is just lashing out with, hey, I don't like this. Ah. But the other part of that is something within the child saying, please, stop me. I know what I'm doing is wrong. Stop me, please. Stop me. And it takes like the parent to like bear hug the kid, just like, you know, carry him off. We're going to take a time out, big time out. I feel like he's behaving like that. Like just a toddler. It's just in this sustained, continuously intensifying temper tantrum. Just almost begging someone to stop him. And for the past decade, our institutions, it's all failed. And he's duped. The Wizard of Oz has duped the American people again and again. You know? A proportion of which was simply so disgusted by the other side. Can't blame them. But there's also a proportion of which, you know, like a percentage of any society. You call it 20% here, or maybe 25%. Who, you know, if Trump said that the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was invading New York City, they'd fucking believe him. And we had to call in the New York National Guard to take down the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They'd be like, oh shit, let's go to New York. So when the Marshmallow Man blows up, we could have some marshmallow, you know. We have an issue of discerning information in this country. That needs to be addressed at some point. Big time, baby. Big time. And so he has all that, but I think, and I feel, that with this continued accelerated insanity, he's going to at some point, there are forces within that, either that movement or just that are sitting above, you know, the real despots of the whole thing. He's going too far, and he's going to start colliding with their own interests. Yeah. Usually it's just financial, and that there are forces at work behind this that I feel at some point will just basically say, all right, enough is enough. That's when you could see 25th Amendment time. JD. All right, JD, you're in. All right, you want to go sit in the White House for 2.5 years or something? Go ahead. And then just get you know, and then go away. Be a figurehead. You're in. It'll be like, yeah, sure, great. Yeah. Chameleon, whatever way you need me to go. And I feel that that's going to happen. It's just, this is unsustainable. You know? And if it is sustained, it will just be like basically the ultimate, just, you know, all the passengers aboard the Titanic just kind of, you know, no one tries to get off the boat. They're all just like, oh, we're going to go down with the ship, with the Mad King. No, I don't see the American people doing that. So it's all going to shift. And one other thing is, after the shifts, I'm over 20 minutes, but after the shifts, there has to be a major season of accountability. You know, like Nuremberg trials on steroids. Sorry. But the Nuremberg trials after World War II, they only went so far. You know, you had Goering and like a lot of, but after a while, after we had like hired most of the, you know, between us and the Soviet Union, hired most of the Nazi scientists, a lot of the trials just kind of fizzled away. It can't be the same for this. You know, these people like Tom Holman, who's breaking crimes causing crimes, being a criminal in the name of doing what I'm told. Stephen Miller. I feel like every evil thing that comes up in this, like his hand is behind it somehow. You know, Rubio, Hegseth, Noam, all of them, Nutlick. You know, all they all. This has got to be an accounting. You know, if you're an ICE agent who like went after someone, yeah, like there needs to be an accounting. And it should be thoughtful, it should be thorough, and it should be unrelenting in its scope. Because how you heal from this without dealing, as a nation, without dealing with these things, I don't know that you can. You know, it's almost going to be like a form of post-Civil War reconstruction, which was botched under Johnson. Yeah, death of Abraham Lincoln screwed all that up. But yeah, there needs to be a reckoning, a long accounting, and shoring things up. So anyway, and the current establishment of the Democratic Party, they're not going to want to do that. They're going to be, you know, business as usual, right? Put another AG in that's not going to, it's going to be like Merrick Garland. It's going to pretend like everything's right as rain. Oh, we're right back to 2015. To 1995. Yeah. Again, this is the time of sweeping change that must sweep it all. Right? It's the time of reinvention for the betterment of the American people. So, spoken way too much. God bless.